Good morning, Ray here, not that one. Well, this is it. Weeks and weeks of planning and preparation and worrying about stuff and travelling. Finally, I'm here. Just got to negotiate this little stream to get out onto the lake. So yeah, so I arrived yesterday. Today is Saturday, by the way, Saturday morning. I think that must be the 6th of September. And yeah, so I arrived here yesterday. I set the canoe up. I was thinking, being a man of, reasonable mechanical skills, that I would whack this thing together in no time. It was a lot harder than I imagined. That took me the best part of an hour. So yeah, that was a shock. And this is it. So I wouldn't say worried is the right word, but I have been very conscious of the fact that I'm now sitting in a canoe that I've never even sat in before, and gone out onto a fairly lengthy expedition by myself. Yeah, I've been thinking about it a bit, that's for sure. But I guess as soon as we get out onto the water and we get out of this weed, everything will perhaps fall into place. I can already see I'm going to have to reposition the bags a bit, because I'm a bit down at the back, so I need to move one bag nearer the front. I've packed and unpacked and repacked these bags I don't know how many times over the last few days. Taking stuff out, putting stuff in, do I really need that? It's been a ball ache. Anyway, I've narrowed it down to what I think is essential. Only time will tell. The food bag has probably been the most trouble, because I've got to have enough food to last, and I have got 2 fishing rods with me, and I have very high hopes of catching some fish, which will change things considerably, but I can't rely on catching fish, so I bought enough meals to cover me. But yes, she's not gliding, that's for sure. Mind you, there's a fair bit of weight in here. So anyway, I've just waved goodbye to the van. Leave it there for a whole week all by itself. Always a worry. Lots of rocks, lichens and pine trees of all ages. Some of these, not these ones just here, but in some areas here, some of these are over 700 years old. Some of these old twisted pines. The reason I wanted to do this trip is because when I was here last year, I parked up on the other side of this complex, really, this Firmans Market complex, a place called Käringsjön, and I did quite a lot of hiking from there. And I hiked into an area called the Dallens, if I pronounced that correctly. Quite a magical place. It's not many or any paths through it. I think I did see one on the map, but yeah, it's a pretty out of the way place, and what you might call untouched, really. So I am fairly familiar with this terrain, and yeah, it's nice. But it is all much of a muchness, which is, do that after a week, I'll probably be sick of it. But no, it's lovely. peace and quiet. I mean, the night I had in the van last night, we are somewhere fairly remote, and yeah, I had a really peaceful night's sleep. Right, on to the first portage, and I've just carried a couple of the bags, paddles and fishing rods. I got to go back for the last bag and the canoe. I could probably do that all in one, but I'm not going to. I'll do another 2 trips. It's not that far, and the rocks are quite slippy. It's all coming back to me now. Walking on all this stuff last year. Yeah, it's a bit different to Norfolk. Right, I'm now looking for the second portage of the trip so far. According to my map, it's in this corner somewhere. Yes, it looks altogether more boggy than the last place, doesn't it? Right, here we go, the last piece to portage. Not left anything behind, no. Yeah, it's quite a lengthy one, this. Well, I'm pretty sure there'll be some longer ones, but this early in the trip, it's a bit of a shock, to say the least. I've got a fishing net and that hanging at the back there, so hopefully that'll stay put. If it falls off, just give me a shout there. I have brought a bit of tin food, but that's surprisingly not, it's not outrageously heavy. I mean, there's a few tins, so obviously they add up, but those wet meals, they I've got 3 of those and they're quite a bit of weight, so I shall certainly have one now, and I'll have another one tomorrow for lunch. Right, we got to get that down a bit, I think. Well, that's not the lightest 18 kilograms I've ever portaged, but so that's what they claim. But yeah, that feels more than that. Hopefully next time I have to put it together, it'll be damn sight easier. I think some of it is you're sort of a bit tentative, you know, you're a bit worried about force and stuff. But having that got together, I realised that force is about the only word that isn't used in the instruction booklet. So you do have to use a fair bit of force, but I'll know that for next time, so that'll make a huge difference. It's quite nice to feel that I'm fully tooled up, got my Garmin in reach in case I get into any bother. More importantly, got my knife and my dangler out, so even better. My Lars Felt bushcraft knife, absolute beauty. Can't get away with doing that in the UK too often, but out here Nobody gives a shit. Hey! There's no one for me to go and stab, so that's fine. In the UK, obviously that's different. I might turn into a frantic knife attacker and just stab people. No, ridiculous law in the UK, but there we are. Yeah, I saw this on Zoopla. Look at this, nice little cabin, tucked away, nice and private. Kind of middle of nowhere. Yeah. Bonus is it comes with its own boat, which might need a little bit of TLC. Complimentary pair of a complimentary Wellington. Yeah, the roof has seen better days, but yeah, nothing you can't fix. A little bit of wood and some 6-inch nails, be sorted. Yeah, even got its own mushroom factory. Who comes to somewhere like this and then leaves one Wellington? You think he would have noticed? Vegetarian all-day breakfast. Sausage, sort of, and beans. And about a million other things that I shouldn't really be eating. So, don't look now, Zoe. Tim would have a heart attack. I've completed 2 portages and I'm just not far from the first wind shelter, which is where I sort of thought I might try and stop at, assuming no one else is there, of course. But it's only really just gone 12 o'clock, so it's not that late at all. Anyway, when I was talking about my knife, I made reference to Lars Felt. It occurs to me that a lot of you may not know who he is. Well, he's, what's the best way? The best way to say it is he's probably Sweden's answer to Ray Mears. And you all know who he is. Maybe as I'm in Sweden, I could have a name change and call myself Lars, not that one, just for a jolly. Yes. No, I think we'll stick with Ray. Ray, not that one, has a nice ring to it. Nice little island there. Spend the night on there. Ray's Island. I don't think you're supposed to camp on the islands in this area, I read somewhere. So we won't be doing that. Collect any wood, so the only wood you are allowed to collect is very small twigs, which are lying on the ground, not attached to a tree. So we've got to respect everything while we're here, but I am well equipped because apart from I've got my little gas stove which I just use for quick coffees, I've also got a trangia and quite a lot of mess, and I've also got my twig stove, so you know I've got lots of options. I can already see there is 2 canoes up here, so it's looking like there's some occupation. Yeah, somebody's got a chuffing great tent up. So it looks like they're camping here. I'm also pretty sure I read that you're only supposed to stay at these wind shelters once, one night. You're not supposed to set up camp there. But it looks like somebody may be doing just that, so yeah, so I think I'm going to go and see what they've got to say for themselves. I can see another tent as well, so yeah, there's no shortage of tents here. Okay, well, I'm now leaving the wind shelter area. To say that was occupied would be a massive understatement. I don't know what's going on. There's at least a dozen tents there. It looks like somebody's been camping there for a while. It looks a bit like it might be the Swedish equivalent of the Boy Scouts, perhaps. I don't know, but there's a hell of a lot of tents, and they've got shelters set up, they've got a hot tent set up, tarps set up. Yeah, there's a ton of gear there. Nobody there, but there's a ton of gear lying around. So yeah, I put together a nice chat. There's a couple of Swedish chaps. They've been out here for a week. They've just been across the Rogen. They've been to the Rua. They didn't canoe up it, but they've been round. They've just been like travelling around from what I could make out. Their English was slightly better than my Swedish, but even so, it was it was a reasonable conversation. Those Swedish guys were very interested in my new canoe. They're in an alley, which this guy has had it for 46 years. So yeah, it looked like it had been used, but even it was still perfectly functional. 46 years he's had it, which is, yes, it's a long time in anybody's book. Completed another two very short portages, which was quite close together. And yeah, the last night was very still, but there was a lot of insects, shall we say. Literally just walking like 20 yards, and it's really windy here. So I've had a few spots of rain. I didn't want to be, that was, the last time I looked it was due to rain, I think a little bit around about now. It's about 2:30 at the moment. Right. Well, just after the last video clip I did, I found a spot. I'm just skirting around this peninsula here, and I can see there's two fire pits here which have been used. One of them's still got some unburnt wood in it, so and more importantly, I can see up on that hill over there that it's really clouding up, and I can already see the rain starting to come down. So I think it is time to get some kind of shelter up. it is starting to spit of rain already, so I think this is going to be just at the nick of time. Right, okay, yeah, well the battery died whilst I was in the middle of putting this all up, so now I've done it, I'll just show you. It's my favourite setup actually. So that's my DD 3x3 multicam tarp, my DD multicam frontline hammock, my DD under blanket, oh, love it. And yeah, I've got my Alp Kit 400 sleeping bag in there, so it should all be cosy. Yeah, I thought we'd just have a look on the map. You can see where I've been. So Käringsjön, that's where I started, just there. I went out into this lake, came through here. There was a little portage there and a little one there, but I chose one slightly longer one so I could do it in one hit. So I portaged through there into this lake, went all the way around this, and then there was a much longer portage across here somewhere. And that was the longest one of the day by far. Once I was there, I came around this lake here, and that's where the wind shelter was there, red dot. Absolutely packed out, never seen so many people. So I skipped that, I came into this section here, through here, up here and through this gap, all the way through here, and then I had a little small portage there and another small portage there, and I'm into this lake. And where I am at the moment is I'm sitting on the end of this little, like, shaped like a foot toe sticking up there, so I'm on the end of that peninsula. And tomorrow I've just literally just got to go around here, and there's one portage there. Then I'm into this section here, and that is where the next wind shelter is, and that's also the portage there to get onto the Rogen. This is the Rogen here, but I'm probably gonna stay in this one, and I want to get up here and have a look at all this lakes here and do some fishing. So that's the plan. And then I think the next day then I might come down and see what's happening at the wind shelter, perhaps. Just filtering some water for drinking for tomorrow. I've read lots of things about these lakes. I mean, a load of people say you can just drink the water straight out of the lake. Then some other people say you're taking a chance. So it's like, so I am taking no chances, because the last thing I want out here is a dodgy tummy. So I'm going to filter the drinking water. Thank you very much. Great bag this. Yeah, game changer, because the little bag that comes with these little minis, these soy minis, is so small that you can hardly get any water in it. So this bag is great. So that'll fill that big litre pot up, and there'll be some left over as well. Oh, this is what being on holiday is all about, isn't it? Just relaxing by myself in nature. I mean, it's only 4:20. Yeah, this is lovely. Just watching the water filter. Last night was a nice night because I slept, you know, where I set off from today. But the previous night I stopped on the campsite because I've been there for a while and I was just looking forward to having a proper shower. Hello, I've got a shower. I've got a shower in the van, and I shower behind the van, which I had done, but you know, there's something about getting in a proper shower where you just run all the hot water you like and just, you know, wallow in it almost. So yeah, so that's why I stopped on the campsite, and I wanted to get everything charged up in the van and just get everything sort of, you know, ship shape. Make a few phone calls back home that I needed to do before, you know, setting off into this wilderness. Yeah, so that was the reasons for doing all that, really. No, but I really missed the campsite vibe. You know, it wasn't too bad as they go, but you know, I had lots of near neighbours. Most of them seemed to have dogs, which wanted to keep barking. There was a few kids running around, as they do, but they were fine. The dogs weren't. As soon as one starts, they all start. God, does your bloody head in. So anyway, out here by myself. I should be okay. Yes. And I'm just relaxing. I bought my camp chair, which is my sort of luxury item. Well, I've got two luxury items. I've got the camp chair, and I've also brought my proper camera with a 300mm f4 prime lens, which is bloody heavy, and I was humming hard. Do I take it now? That's a lot of weight. Do I take it? That's a lot of weight. But anyway, I've ended up bringing it because I figured that if I'm out here and a moose happens to walk past, or you know, or bloody God forbid a bear or anything like that, if I haven't got my camera with me, I would be absolutely gutted. So anyway, I've got my camera. I did lug it around last year when I was walking over the other side, and I didn't see hardly anything worth taking a picture of, to be honest, apart from the trees. So you know, I hope that this year, well, maybe a bit more stealthy, would be different, but we'll see. You know, I might wake up in the morning, there could be 2 or 3 moose here, you just don't know, do you? Don't think so, just here. I think they like the boggy bit back there, but anyway, that's it. That's what I've done. So I've just lit my trangia, and I've got a saucepan there full of water. Well, not full, but it's got some water in it. Another luxury item, actual chopping board. So obviously that's a fish filleting knife, but I'm sure it'll do potatoes just as well. Let's see. Oh yes, I shall make these nice and small. Now, I didn't tell you this the other day, but when I was as I was driving towards Käringsjön, and I'd left the campsite, and I went to the local supermarket in Idri. Idri, one of the two. Anyway, there's an ICA there, which ICA is a fairly large Swedish supermarket chain, and I had a real disaster there because I'd gone in to get some ribeye steaks. First of all, they've only got entrecôte, which is obviously, you know, French for ribeye, but the only pack they had was a double one. So obviously that's not going to keep another day, so I'm going to have to try and force those two down tonight, now. Right, I've managed to amass a reasonable pile of twigs. Some are a bit damp, but some of them are, you know, quite dry. So let's see what we can do with this. Twig stove going because I think the trangia is struggling a little bit. There's obviously the charred remains of what somebody else was burning. This doesn't look good, does it? But it might have been lying on the ground, so maybe that was okay. But yeah, benefit of the doubt and all that. Bit of smoke is getting rid of the midges, so it's even better. Things are getting a bit juicy now. It's a bit lively now, isn't it? Right, let's give this a little dose of some nice sea salt. And some real cracking good pepper this is. That'll sparkle up a bit. Now, before this gets really strong on the flame, we'll give that a start. It's all been getting a bit lively in the kitchen. Yeah, twig stoves have their limitations, but nonetheless that is cooking well, and I quite like it charred, which is just as well, isn't it? Pinky red on the inside and charred on the outside, absolutely perfect. And that just gets too much. We'll rest it there for a bit. Doing here. Yeah, still just a little bit rare for me. This is really good steak. Really nice. Nice buds. It's like being in one of them fancy restaurants when they bring your steak out on the board. So yeah, spot on. Well, I certainly got camp set up and had my tea in the nick of time, because it's been raining now for about the last, I finished my tea nearly an hour ago. Yeah, and it's yeah, pretty persistent rain now, and also feel that the wind is just picking up just a wee bit. It's just sort of cooling the temperature down a little bit. So yeah, I don't know what the time of day is. It looks like it's about 7:15, so it's a little too early to tuck into the sleeping bag. But yeah, I may be tempted. So yeah, this is exactly what they forecast. So it did say shower around about 3 o'clock, which we did get a light one, and then it will start coming in around about 6 o'clock time. Yeah, which is pretty much what it's done, and this is due to go on for several hours. But well, this is all the forecast I looked at yesterday, but tomorrow is supposed to be rather sunny, so that'll be something nice to look forward to. And then I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday we're due to get a bit of wind. So yeah, but you know, that's, as always, it's subject to change. But it's really nice to sit in there, I mean, the pitter patter of rain, looking out across the lake. I mean, I am jutting right out into the lake here, so you know, I've pretty much got a view of the water. You know, pretty much at least 270 degrees. So yeah, it's been nice. There's been a couple of loons floating around, which I love to hear them calling, so hopefully during, if it stops raining, then I might hear them tonight. And yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. So that's the end of my day one. So hopefully we've got a few interesting things for you to look at from day one. and I'll probably knock it on the head now unless anything spectacular happens. But I look forward to seeing you in the morning. So bye.